narapati. Satu samralbrihakshava sakshan mahabhagavato raja sirhaya medayat tutrit samayuto dino naivasmak japam arati dharma palo narapati satu samral brihakshava sakshan mahabhagavato Raja Hayamedayat Shutrit Sramayuto Dino Naivasmak Chapam Arhati. Devotee, you want to repeat?
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Dharmapalo narapati satu samrat brihatshrava shakshan mahabhagavato rajarsir hayamedhayat chutrit sramayuto dino naivasmachapam arhati.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dharmapalo narapati satu samrat bruhachava shakshan mahabhagavato rajarshi hayame tayat chutru shamayuto dino nivasmacha pamarti. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dharmapalo narpatihi satu samrad prihaj Shravaha Sakshana Maha Bhagavato Rajarshirhaya Medayat Shutrit Shrama Yuto Dino Nevashmach Japam Arhati. Hare Krishna.
I think that's all the devotee today. Everybody's in Sadhusanga. And Sunday, usually there's more crowd. Okay, I'm going to read the synonyms now. Dharmapala, the protector of religion. Narapati, the king. Sahi, two, but. Samrat, emperor. Brihad, highly. Shava, celebrated. Saksat, directly. Mahabhagavata, the first class devotee of the Lord. Rajasi, saint among the royal order. Hayamedayat, great performer of horse sacrifices. Sit, hunger. Trit, thirst. Shramayuta, tired and fatigue. Dina, strengthened. Na, never. Eva, thus. Asmat, by us. Sapam, curse. Arhati, deserves. Translation, by Divine Grace, is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Emperor Pariksit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated and is a first-class devotee of the personality of Godhead. He is a saint among royalty and he has performed many horse sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being stricken with hunger and thirst, he does not at all deserve to be cursed. Purport. After explaining the general codes relating to the royal position and asserting that the king can do no wrong and therefore is never to be condemned, the sage Samika wanted to say something about Emperor Parikshit especially. The specific qualification of Maharaj Parikshit is summarized herein. The king even calculated as the king only was more celebrated as a ruler who administered the religious principle of the royal order. In the Shastra, the duties of all castes and order of society are prescribed. All the qualities of a Kshatriya mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, 1843, were present in the person of the emperor. He was also a great devotee of the Lord and a self-realized soul. Cursing a king when he was tired and fatigued with hunger and thirst was not at all proper. Samika Rishi thus admitted from all sides that Maharaj Parikshit was cursed most unjustly. Although all the Brahmana were aloof from the incident, still, for the childish action of a Brahmana boy, the whole world situation was changed. This Rishi Shamika, a Brahmana, took responsibility for all the deterioration of the good orders of the world. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Now Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasad Pitare Smati Bhaktivedanta Niti Name Namaste Sarpati Devi Gauravani Charine Vishesha Shvinyavadi Paschachadi Satarine. Nastapesu Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Devaya Bhagavatam Sake Bhakti. Okay, we're continuing reading the pastime of King Parikshit being cursed by Shringi, the son of Samika Rishi. So we can see that in this purport and translation, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Emperor Parikshit was a very pious king, was a Rajasi. Rajasi means devoted, he's very devoted. He's a great devotee of the Lord. And in Mahabhagavata also is a first class devotee of the Lord. And he was a great ruler. He was not only like an ordinary ruler, were ruling the whole world that time, like Bharatvarsha was under one flag. The whole world was under, and he was a special devotee also because he was saved from the womb by Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is a nephew of Lord Krishna. And he was a very, very great king, and he was a very pious king, following all the principles of religion. And he didn't have so much fault, he was just very tired and fatigued, and he saw the sage was just ignoring him, and he just put a snake on that. But usually, if a great devotee's action, we cannot judge the action of a great devotee, and in return, what happened, the Sringi, he was so immature, like Srila Prabhupada said. Prabhupada in so many, purport call that the Sringi, he become puffed up, because he got the power of a Brahmana. And he didn't use in intelligence, and he just used it in the wrong way to curse the Maharaj Pariksit to leave the body in 7 days. So that was a great mistake. And his father, Samika Rishi, was repenting, was saying, he doesn't need to be punished like that, King Parikshit. He doesn't need to be punished. And he's feeling very, very remorseful of the action of his son. So in human society, hearing one lecture from one Maharaj, Amala Bhakta, when we say human society, there's three basic, essential principles. The first one is that the Brahmana should always situate themselves in the mode of goodness. And since they're the head of the society, they're the one who guides the Kshatriya. The Kshatriya is always under the guidance of a Brahmana, high class, or highest principle, in order to make progress in society. And also the Vaishya, they always protect the cow, and they're the foundation for economic development. And And like predicting the cow is very essential because the cow produces milk, and the cow gave a lot of his products that we use, for the benefit of human society, such as cow dung, milk. And Krishna himself live in the planet of the cow, Goloka Vrindavan. And the cows are very dear to Lord Krishna. So that's the duty of the Kshatriya. And the third principle is just everyone supposed to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if one follow all this, society will be progress successfully. And also, the curse of Shringi is the beginning of the downfall of the Brahmana caste, and the Brahmana is supposed to be the head, and if they make mistake, how can they guide the whole society as the head of the society? And also it is said that how is it possible that Lakshmika means is that my son has just cursed the righteous king who doesn't have any fault. He has all the quality of the Kshatriya. What is the quality of the Kshatriya is explained, in the Bhagavad Gita 1843, and there's 7 qualifications of a Kshatriya, and heroism, power, determination, and courage in battle, generosity, is bold, is lead and protect people. And you can see, how King Parikshit, was always, looking after his people. And he even, challenged, Kali to enter his kingdom. He was such an exalted king, a devoted king, and doesn't have a tinge of sinful activity because he was from birth. He got great grandparent like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj. Arjun was his father, and he was his nephew of Krishna, and he had all great qualities. And just he was hungry, like he did a simple mistake, but just hungry and thirsty. He came across, he did, he put the snake around the on the other hand, Shringi, he doesn't have any experience, and he thought that he had to teach the Kshatriya. It is his duty to teach the Kshatriya how to act in society. So that's why he cursed. So also it is said that the Kshatriya, they're resourceful. They provide all the needs of the people, and the courage in battle. The Kshatriya, one of the qualities, they can challenge any enemies that terrorize the kingdom. And they're very generous also. Generosity is another of the qualification of a Kshatriya. They give ample of charity to the Brahmana. And they have leadership. They are the role model of the society. They lead by their own example. And they're very confident in guiding and protecting all the people. So another story that I heard about how why King Parikshit, who was very brave, very courageous, he can fight anybody, he can counteract anyone. Why he didn't counteract, the action of Shringi? Being a great devotee, the Acharya said, and many devotees, I heard from many devotees said, the King Parikshit, he really took this opportunity, to renounce the world and go and absorb in Krishna. That's why he didn't counteract. Also, the second reason is that he didn't counteract Shringi because he want to, because it's the arrangement of Krishna. so that we can have Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Srimad Bhagavatam was not meant only for King Parikshit, but meant for general populace, for all of us, so that we can get purified just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are two reasons that King Parikshit was cursed. Was cursed and accept the curse as a mercy of Krishna. Sometimes things happen to us, and he may seem to be very, very like, oh, why this happened to me? But like we always heard that behind every bad thing, some good thing will happen to you. So, and actually also another saying which says it's a blessing in disguise. The blessing in disguise is that King Parikshit can fully observe himself. He has 7 days only left. He can fully absorb himself in hearing, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he can go back home, back to Godhead. So he has certain mission in the material world. He came and that's the arrangement of Krishna. And that meant to be happen. Sometimes he says that meant to be happen, cannot do anything. So that's why he accepts everything. So similarly, one realization that whatever happened to us in life, we should not think that, okay, why is this happening to me? Why me? We should always try, a devotee always try to accept everything. Oh, Krishna is very merciful. Give me a token reaction for my, for my simple reaction. I'm just saying, everything that Krishna is giving to us is for our own benefit. So that how King Parikshit, great devotees, they accept everything, whatever good thing, like Prahlad Maharaj is another example. He was put in so many difficulties by his father, but he was never angry. He was never lamenting, oh, why my father is mistreating me like that? And what kind of father he is. He never, but he was always remembering Krishna. He was always remembering Krishna. Merely when bad thing happened to us, when we are put into difficulties, the only thing that a devotee do, he always just remember Krishna and just be tolerant. And another qualities of a Brahma is supposed to be Shanti. Shanti, and when we read in 1842, we say the Bhagavad Gita 1842, it says that the Brahmana is supposed to be Shanti, mean tolerant. Like you can see now, Swingy was not tolerant. He was very intolerant. There's a little provocation and it cursed somebody to death. That is another downfall of the Brahminical, culture. And King Pariksit, he went and just sat down by the Ganges and was inquiring about self-realization, about Krishna consciousness. And he was completely fearless. And he was not identifying with his body. He fasted, like everybody knows that he fasted for all 7 days. He was just absorbing himself. That's one good lesson for us. If we knew that we're going to leave the body, what the best thing to do is just hear and chant the holy name and pray to Krishna that he can send devotees to us, then we can constantly, without any distraction, we can just remember Krishna. That's the only way we can just go back home, back to Godhead, where we can be, with Krishna. And also, now how King Parikshit, and being an exalted devotee, being protected even by Krishna in the womb, and he has all the great qualities, and nobody can judge him, like, oh, he was disrespectful, only like an unintelligent, a foolish, immature Brahmana boy who has the power, and try to, to curse him. That's what Samika Rishi is saying in the purport that, Samika Rishi says that was inexperienced good brahmin. He did not approve the action and condemn his son. He began to lament for all that his son had done. The king was beyond the jurisdiction of curses as a general rule. And what to speak of a good king like Maharaj Parikshit? The offense of the king was most insignificant. And his being condemned to death was certainly a great sin for Shringi. Therefore, Samika Rishi regretted the whole incident. You know, how in the 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, chapter 6, it is very nice to explain how Parikshit Maharaj, the passing, you know, Maharaj Parikshit passed away, and I thought it was. Anybody knows what the name of the serpent, of the snake that bite King Parikshit?
Takshaka.
Takshaka, yeah. And we said that being a great devotee and fully surrendered into the Supreme Personality of God and to Krishna, being absorbed, Maharaj Parikshit was very fearless. Now he said, "My Lord, I have no fear. I have no fear of Takshaka or any other living being, even of repeated death, because I have absorbed myself in that purely spiritual absolute truth, which you have revealed, in which destroy all fear." And he said, "Oh Brahmana, please give me permission to resign my speech and function of all the senses and to Lord Adoksaja. Allow me to absorb my mind, purify of lusty desires within him, and thus give up my life." You know, and this is another good way to leave the body. The mind should be completely absorbed, you know, and by hearing and remembering the Lord, then we can get purified from all our lusty desires before giving up this body. You have revealed to me which is most auspicious, the supreme personal feature of the Lord. I'm now fixed in knowledge and self-realization. My ignorance has been eradicated. Sutta Goswami said, this requested the saintly son of Srila Vyasadeva gave his permission to King Parikshit. Then after being worshipped by the king and all sages present, Sukadeva Goswami departed from that place. How he departed is the Maharaj Parikshit then sat down on the bank of the Ganges upon a seat made of darba grass with the tips of its stalks facing east, turned himself toward the north. Having attained the perfection of yoga, experienced full self-realization, and was free of material attachment and doubt. The saintly king settled his mind within the spiritual self by pure intelligence and proceeded to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life air ceased to move and he began as stationary. And there was a nice story before that, is that Takshaka flattered Kashyapa. Okay. Yes, yes. O learned Brahman, the snake bird Takshaka, who had been sent by the angry son of a Brahmana, was going toward the king to kill him. When he saw Kashyapa Muni on the path, Takshaka flattered Kashyapa by presenting him with valuable offering and thereby stopped the sage. So Kashyapa Muni, he knows that was an unjust curse. He was trying to protect King Parikshit from being beaten by Takshaka. The Takshaka, he was very smart and tried to flatter the sage Kashyapa Muni by presenting him with valuable offering and thereby stop the sage, who was an expert in counteracting poison. So one of the things that Kashyapa Muni was able to do, he can counteract any poison. If somebody get bitten by a snake, he can counteract the poison. So he was just trying to protect King Parikshit, because King Parikshit was such a saintly king, who will not protect him. Nobody wanted the saintly king to live this, they were so happy with this. Being a king, they don't want him to leave the body like that to be bitten by a snake. So Kashyapa Muni was trying to protect him. Then the snake bird, who could assume any form he wished to disguise himself as a Brahmana, approached the king and bite him. So that by trick, because he could not bite in the body of the snake. So he disguised himself like a Brahmana. That's how he was able to bite him. While living all over the universe, look on the body of the great self-realized soul among the king was immediately burned to ashes by the fire of the snake poison. This is how, somehow the, Takshasha by trick, by tricking, and coming by in the shape of a Brahmana and was able to fulfill, the the curse of Shringi. So, and another thing is that we can see, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda was being harassed by, was being attacked by Jagai and Madai, and Lord Chaitanya came to the rescue. So whenever a devotee is being attacked, the Supreme Lord doesn't tolerate it. Because the devotees are very dear to Lord Chaitanya, who came in Kali Yuga just to propagate. He didn't come with his Ashra sons, with his weapons, to kill the demon. He came just to give the holy name. That's how we can save, whole human society and liberate everybody by hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord. But when Lord Nityananda was being attacked by Jagai and Madai, and the Lord became very angry, and we just came with the Sudarshan chakra and want to destroy Jagai and Madai. But in one way, you can see the Brahmana is supposed to be very forgiving also, but he didn't, Shringi being inexperienced, he just was puffed up with power, and he doesn't believe in in being forgiveness, and he didn't analyze the situation why his father was being this, the snake was put on his neck. He just get so angry and just without thinking. That's why before we do anything, they said that we have to sing 3 times, because sometimes due to anger we can we can do some activities that is not beneficial. This later on will regret. So one example we can hear them, sometimes we hear from Singh didn't even hear this, didn't see himself personally, heard it from some other Brahmana boy. Then he became very angry, without analyzing the situation, why this happened, you know. So we also sometimes we should not judge people like that and become angry at people without knowing the situation, why the people act in certain way. And why they act in certain ways that then this, and devotee is supposed to be very forgiving, very merciful. That is one of the qualification of the devotee. Is very careful. But especially the Brahmana. The Brahmana is supposed to be have all the knowledge, how to behave in society. But somehow or other, Shingi, he did not follow the rules of the Brahmana. He was so inexperienced and immature and keep on cursing the king without right, without any good reason. Anybody has any question or any comment? Want to add anything?
No, Mataji, thank you. That was wonderful. I really like the point when you said we shouldn't, like, with the example of Sringi, that we should not be judging any devotees.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we just get angry for no reason at other people. So before we get angry, we have to tell anger destroy everything. It's something that we cannot take back, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, Prabhupada wanted to create a whole class of Brahmana. Prabhupada focused, in this, to give Krishna conscious education, based on Brahminical principle. What is a Brahminical principle that our ISKCON is made of? Is that we should read scripture, we could teach the scripture, and we should worship the deity, and we should accept charitable gifts, from people for preaching purposes. And we should also, Prabhupada also included cow protection, worshipping of the deities. But also, it is said also that the Vaishnava, they're above the Brahmana, because they're always engaging in devotional service. That's why, all these things that Prabhupada, created, he created a class of Brahmana to lead this Krishna consciousness movement. Most of the devotee, who's fully engaged, they always engage in Brahminical activities. Anybody else have to add, what other Brahminical? Oh, I saw Kalpesh Prabhu raise his hand.
Yeah.
You want to add something, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Uh,
This is all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you for reciting this class. Yeah, so I'm myself learning this, and this just what I'm going to say is just meant for me. But I thought like this is a good platform to share a knowledge as well, that what I'm trying to learn. So therefore, I'm saying what I'm saying. As you have rightly said that the Brahmanas, like Vaishnava is higher than Brahmanas, right? That is what we are learning through this philosophy. And now the challenge is like we are into Krishna consciousness, and we are living in the material world, but of course not every association which we are living will be Krishna conscious. I mean, will be in the favorable mode of Krishna conscious. So knowing that association is the powerhouse for giving us to stay all the time in that platform. At the same time, when we understand that okay, the Vaishnavas is higher than Brahman, meaning the whole Srila Prabhupada Krishna conscious movement was meant for that, making people other Vaishnavas, and before making people other Vaishnavas, and to display that qualities and behavior uh, uh, with our material world which we are living in. So there are several aspects to that, like how to become a Vaishnava devotee, then knowing the basic principles of as a Vaishnava behavior, then we may also need to know the etiquette when we are dealing in any kind of relationship, like a family members or relatives, um, treating other genders, particularly women. Um, uh, and then there is uh, like like etiquettes when we are facing in the public. Like, because we will be going outside all the time, and um, when somebody sees us, um, then they can get the Krishna consciousness also. So in that mood, that etiquette in the public, and what should one's behavior should be, um, uh, as a Krishna conscious Vaishnava, and that is what I'm trying to see, because all of the problems which we probably face not to stay focused in Krishna consciousness is because we often get distracted um, when we are associating with outside. So it's very famous Bhagavad Gita verse, Yadyat Achrati Shrestha Tat Tat Evartro Jnana. Sa Yat Pramana Kurte Lokastat Anuvartate. So whatever action a great man performs, common man follows. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So Srila Prabhupada wanted us, like, the etiquette in the public is like, always remember that you are, like, I am representing, my case, Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada never compromised when it came to the absolute truth, that for Krishna, then he never compromised those. However, he always had the perfect, like, he always saw that Krishna conscious people are perfect gentlemen. That is what the Krishna consciousness is. Other point is, like, when we are dealing with people, um, there are, of course, when we deal in the public, not necessarily everybody is a Krishna devotee. There could be a variety type of people. Also, when we are dealing in the temples, or we are dealing with different modes, different grades of adhikaris, um, then while dealing with people, we have to, if we are in that consciousness, Krishna consciousness, then we'll sacrifice our that false ego, and we'll try to train ourselves, and not to be concerned with that subtle interaction of sattva, rajas, and tamas mode, all the prakriti which is acting on us. So we have to keep that aside while dealing with any, because that is what a Vaishnava will do. Then we have to keep a single-minded determination to think, speak, and act. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, the speech uh, uh, should be beneficial, um, truthful, and pleasing to others. That is the austerity in the speech. And that is what we have to always stay in that single-minded determination, that what will speak and what will act, it will really reflected to Srila Prabhupada. That, okay, because if we don't really behave and conduct um, in the public very well, then they will say, oh, this is ISKCON movement, these people are like that already. So it goes to our Srila Prabhupada, because that is our base in Guru Parampara for the whole Krishna consciousness. Um, then we have to remember by constant practice that everyone is a part and parcel. So we see sometimes people from other sampradayas, or sometimes they are not even a devotee. There are so many different classes of people, like some may be atheistic, some may be theistic, some may be from other country, nationalities, all kind of language people. And so those are the designations people have. And but we have to see eventually, if we are strong in our understanding of philosophy, then we will see everyone as a part and parcel of Krishna. So our only business is when we are associating with somebody, we have to reawaken their consciousness to spiritual reality, and promote Vaishnavism. Um, uh, then we have to always remember, there is a camera, right? When we are in front of camera, we try to have certain discipline, right? So same thing. Somebody is holding that camera and Krishna is watching us. And Krishna is always watching us in every situation, whatever we do. So we have to kind of meditate and remember that whatever I'm doing activity, nobody is, even if I'm in like a bathroom and nobody is there, but if Krishna is watching there, me also, right? So those kind of things, there is nothing secret to Krishna. Krishna is always watching us. Um, so that will also modulate our intention and behavior. Like how can we really stay focused and on Krishna consciousness, that if nobody watches, Krishna is watching me still, then how to spread the mercy and distribute mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because like somebody came to us. Many times we see that, okay, why I have to preach, why I have to distribute this knowledge? Can I just stay on my own, not go do anything, about it? But somebody gave us this mercy. Like somebody came us to also. Um, it's the same thing we can also do. Like Sankirtan is the most effective method to awaken the Krishna consciousness. A devotee should be concerned. Concerned meaning chinta. Like in Hindi we say, we have too much. We should be feeling, okay, my other god brother has not got it yet, and our face should be like, becoming, like you have to see, okay, I have to do this, that kind of behavior. We should feel that feeling should come from our heart, that really I have to distribute in anything, whatever I do, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercy. This should be the essence of all our dealing. And the Mataji, you mentioned about the anger, right? So we have to win over the anger and frustration, particularly in the public, where people may not really like how Shringi judged, some got provoked by somebody's statement. So similarly, we see every time in our situation in our life also, we may go through that kind of thing, where somebody will say something, but we don't know the whole factual thing, and we may just react to those things.
Yeah, exactly.
So so particularly this also applies in, because when we see from public, we may not know the whole person, and we may get anger or we may get frustrated. But Prabhupada always instructed that Vaishnava behavior is like, okay, we should anger and frustration can be only win by tolerance and humility. So humility and tolerance will always win over anger and frustration. So that is what there are several things like etiquettes
Yeah,
related.
but one of the quality of the Brahmana is the forbearance. We have to be tolerant, Ashanti. And
True Vaishnava is like, if we like, if I always see myself, how to measure that if I am really walking on the path of doing the, am I just at least doing something, or am I becoming a Vaishnava? How would I know that? So because in my fantasy world, I would think, oh, I'm doing everything right, but no, we have to see, uh, like, can we make other people Vaishnava through our behavior? And
of
that
course, first we ourselves have to practice, then we can preach whatever we are practicing. That's very important too. It's very important to make Vaishnava and give them time. First, we have to ourselves practice it, by our example, like you mentioned this verse, whatever great men do, common man follows. Act like a leader in society, we're trying to give preach Krishna consciousness. People will hear us and if see this quality in us only. we are doing what we are preaching. That is very important too.
That's right.
It's very important. And like, how can you come to that platform of Brahmanical? It's just by engaging devotional service, first by hearing and chanting. Just, if we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, like Srila Prabhupada gave it prescribed amount of round. Prabhupada said we can just sing 16 rounds every day, following the 4 regulative principle, and if we do that, strictly, definitely we will, all the good qualities of the demigod will develop into devotees, A demigod, they are exalted, they have all, especially becoming Brahmana, they come to the Brahmanical culture, you have to follow all the rules and regulation that is set up in the scripture. Yeah. In this way, but we get purified and then we can share to other people the same thing and people can be peaceful. The only reason we want to share Krishna consciousness because we got the knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam by the mercy of Shringi and Parikshit Maharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam would not have spoken if Shringi would have not cursed Parikshit Maharaj. This is all the arrangement of Krishna.
No, great. And I also heard that peace formula is like, which also clicked me some time back when I was hearing from the senior devotees and other discourses. The peace which gave in Bhagavad Gita is 5.29, Aishwaryam Bhoktaram, right? Kind of. So immediately when we start thinking that Krishna is supreme enjoyer of everything, then we will the peace comes.
Peace comes.
Formula, but to apply, it becomes so sometimes because when we are not devotee and we are trying to become devotee, our main mentality of the mind is to enjoy. That is what the material propensity is. You want to get pulled into that enjoyment, and now you want to take that enjoyment from yourself and give it to Krishna. It's not easy if we think.
Yeah, it's not easy, but if you associate with advanced devotee who are already practicing this by being in the association, you get changed too. So that's why association of devotee is very important. Now, Rupa Goswami said also in Nectar of Devotion, the 5 basic things that is very important for us to progress in spiritual life. One of them is associating with a devotee, chanting the holy name, residing in a holy place. Holy place, that doesn't mean you have to stay in Mathura or Vrindavan or something. If you can stay, that is very good. But if you're not able, you can change your house into a spiritual place, and you can come to the temples always where the deities, where devotees are constantly chanting and hearing and worshiping the deities there. It's like a spiritual place, it's a sacred place. So if we want to become purified from all this stuff, if we follow this 5 basic principles, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we're doing that, worshiping the deities, chanting the holy name, and performing Sankirtan, I just say, then associating with devotees, and the last one is residing in holy places like Mathura and Vrindavan. Prabhupada say all the temple, ISKCON temple, are non-different from, from the holy places. So the Acharya has already gave us, the tools how we can get purified from material contamination. We just need to apply it, and pray to Krishna, if we can make an effort every day, try to change our round and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, just by hearing Prabhupada, each verse, each word in Bhagavatam can purify you. Like we're reading about, we're reciting the verse, each word, if every day we can just hear about it and remember it, that is the best. And teaching it to others, that is the best also. So in this way we can get purified. So then we can come to the state of beyond Brahman. Get all the Brahminical qualities so that we become a Vaishnava. Mahabhagavata. So by following the footstep of of great devotees. Thank you, and time is up, and Mother Suman, and thank you, Sonia. A small crowd. It's good. Even Prabhupada said, even there's nobody to hear you just speak to the four walls. Four walls, Sometimes you can read, but Krishna is always present everywhere. If nobody is hearing you, you just read and and Krishna is always your endeavor. You're trying to hear about these glories, about the devotees' glories. Thank you very much. And Malsuman, you have anything to add?
Just I want to say, it was like very nice class. Thank you for your nice class and very purifying. It was nice to hear from you and all the devotees in the morning. We are going to have a nice day today, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Malsuman, I've been hearing, like when I first moved to Philadelphia, like a few years back, when I think in 2019.
2020, I think from 20.
20, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam on the radio, we didn't have Zoom.
Oh yeah, on phone.
On the phone.
On phone, yeah. Every day.
On the phone every day, when Mother Suman was always there.
Devi Mataji and
Devi, me, you, Vrindavaneshwari, was a small group,
nice group.
now it's expanding.
Yeah.
On normal days, we got like up to 20 devotees hearing Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Tamagori. Hare Krishna, Sonia. Sonia is very quiet. Say something, Sonia.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my
Hare
blessings.
Krishna.
Very nice class, Mataji. Very nice to hear from you.
Yeah. Anyway, we hope to see you tonight. We have a Sunday peace. And Hare Krishna. See you next month.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Panchakapatebhyo chakita. Thank you, Kalpesh Prabhu. You gave some very nice points,
Yeah, I'm meditating.
Realization. Thank you very much.
So I'm because when I go for book distribution, this becomes very important for me to distribution. But overall, the consciousness has to be always that. I don't have it. That's why I seek association.
You get it, hope against hope. Krishna, we all like trying. Nobody is exalted. We all trying, when Krishna knows our heart, then he will, whatever we desire, Krishna will fulfill that. Krishna will send the people and send the situation. And sometimes Krishna doesn't show us immediately. He also wants us to be patient, There's another quality of the devotee. We have to be patient. Be patient.
Utsaha, Nishaya, Dhairya.
Yeah. My nectar instruction, Mr. Edgar, yeah. Akshati Rishati,
Hearing from the determination when we see how the pastimes performed by Srila Prabhupada, Haridas Thakur, like he used to chant 192 rounds. And he would not eat any food or drink anything unless he completes.
Determination.
That is called determination.
Determination we have to have. This is one of the things in order for us to make progress in devotional service. Determination, patience, confidence. Mhm. So thank you very much. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Golokananda, Priya Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kamagori.
Ciao.
Kamagori is another nice devotee. Always try to hear and help.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow morning then.
Yeah, okay, here we go.